Welcome to Aroused, the podcast that teaches you how to reclaim your sexuality and how to significantly increase the passion and pleasure in your life. If you're determined to have a breakthrough in your love life, then this show is for you. I'm relationship, dating, and sex expert, Samantha Pop, and I'm stoked to have you join me on this journey. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating review if you love this episode. Welcome. I'm so excited to be here with you and guide you through your journey. My name is Samantha Pop, and I'm your go-to relationship, dating, and sex coach. And this podcast is packed with tips for channeling your intuition, personal commitment, empowering yourself, reclaiming your sexuality and self-worth, and how to have better sex so you can always feel satisfied and fulfilled. And, I can totally already feel the energy of some of the women that are listening to this. And I am here to serve you because I've been there when, didn't feel satisfied in my relationship and it was controlled by my partner and it was really shitty. So I'm just so excited to share so many stories and my expertise on this podcast for you. And it's really time for you to put yourself first, love. And I have your back. So think of me as your coach on the go every time you listen to one of these episodes on the Aroused podcast, because I'm cheering you on over here. I know you can do it. And, I'm sure you're thinking, Sam, how could you possibly even know that? Like, you don't even know me. And, I wasn't always where I am now. A lot of my friends see me as this confident, very sexual woman that I am. And, I live authentically to who I am. I love myself and all the parts that I am. And, I even accept the parts that I wasn't always a fan of. But, you have to accept every part of you to truly love yourself. And for those of you that don't know me, haven't really followed me, and this is the first time that you're interacting with me, I struggled with an eating disorder from a very young age. And it lasted for almost a decade. And then when I got into my first abusive relationship, I was only a teenager. So I was in a really bad place mentally for a long time. And I struggled from my own demons as well as external demons that were my abusive partners. But the internal demons that I struggled with were, majorly the inner critic, the comparison beast, and imposter syndrome, which all contributed to my eating disorder. And then adding in all the abuse I endured from the men that I dated was just the cherry on top. And I got to a point where I was self-medicating with alcohol and a shopping addiction. It may sound silly, but shopping was my way of showing myself love. It was the only way I knew how to at that point in my life because, I struggled with seeing what true love actually looked like growing up. I didn't truly see what love was really like. And, when you have role models in your life, you look up to them and think that, oh, like this is normal and this is okay because adults are doing it. And you soak up all this information because your brain is like a sponge and you really believe that, hey, this is okay because adults are doing it. And so through my demons that I was dealing with internally and the external ones as well, alcohol did become an escape for me to get out of my head and try to forget all of my trauma during, my abusive relationships that I was in. And even after I got out of them, alcohol became this coping method that I chose to try and get it out of my head and forget everything. So I held on to a lot of pain for a long time. And it was even more heartbreaking when people around me at a certain point in my life didn't believe that I was depressed and dealing with all these demons inside of me, dealing with all of the trauma and, ultimately like this PTSD that I had from all the abuse that I endured. And now as I look back at that older version of myself, I am grateful that it happened, for the fact that like there were people that doubted me, because it made me go and see my family doctor at the time, because I was like, you know what? No, like certain people in my life aren't believing me. I need to go talk to a professional. Like if certain people that are around me don't see this, they don't believe me, I really need to go see someone else. And hopefully, my family doctor is actually going to believe me and help me figure out a way to get through all of this. And so this is something that I'm going to encourage, because this is so, so crucial. If you don't already have an amazing family doctor, I strongly encourage you to find find one, because for me, my family doctor at the time where I was living, he made all the difference in the world to me in my time of trying and healing, and, being to a point right now where I'm trying to find a new family doctor because, you can't always find a really great one. You have to try over and over again to find the right family doctor for you. But, I did have one, and I believe that there are still good family doctors out there. So I'm still on that journey right now to find one where I am. So I healed myself from my eating disorder and was doing a shit ton of inner work to heal from all the toxic relationships that I've endured. And this includes the abusive ones as well, because some of them were abusive, some of them weren't, but they were all toxic. And I made the conscious decision, both times, that I don't have to live like this anymore. I can have a better life. I deserve to eat food and not obsess over my exercise routine to try and fit into some unrealistic picture of what perfection looks like to me. I could be happy with the way that my body looks now and love myself. And also that I never deserve to be abused by all those monsters in my past. I deserve to be loved, accepted for everything that I am. And in the midst of my self-healing and self-love journey, I learned to eat all the food that I like without a side of guilt. And I also manifested the love of my life. So the life that I live right now is the one that I chose to create for myself. And if I can do it for me and do something like this for myself, then I know that you can do it too. Because I know everyone has their own journey that you're on. I know you're struggling with your own thing, and everyone's battling with their own shit going on, whether it's their own personal demons or, you're battling with depression, anxiety, whatever it is, everyone has something that they're going through, and healing yourself from those things that hurt you is your responsibility. It's not your fault that any of those happened. And I don't beat up my old self and it's like, oh, you're so stupid for getting into those relationships. It's like, no, I was lost and I really didn't know what I was doing. But I look back and I'm like, yeah, I had to learn from this relationship and from that one. And it's made me into the person that I am. So I did a lot of healing by myself, but you don't have to do it all alone. And that's why I created this podcast. So you don't have to do it alone anymore. So you don't feel like you have to face the entire world on your shoulders by yourself. I've been there and it was hard. It was lonely. I didn't know if I could, make it to the other side. I had so much doubt in myself because I didn't think I should tell anyone what's going on. And I tried to do everything myself. And there was a huge struggle. And I don't want you to struggle like I had to, because, I was trying to keep everything hush hush. I didn't want certain people to know about the things that I was dealing with or the people that I was involved in and the trauma, because, I've told certain friends of mine certain things and they get so emotional over it. And they're like, oh my God, I had no idea that happened to you. And yeah, because I kept it hidden. I didn't want people to know. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. You're going to find out in this podcast a lot of things about me. And I have no shame about sharing my experiences and bringing awareness to topics that we need to talk about in our society. And like even people in my own family were telling me, oh, you need to stop talking about that stuff on Facebook. Like that's not appropriate. Like you don't need to be talking about those topics. And it's that kind of energy. It's that kind of generational trauma and this continued belief that it's like, oh no, we need to keep everything inside. And that's wrong. So I always felt like I had no one around me that would ever understand how I felt, and to see someone in my situation rise above the ashes. So I had to do it myself. And I had to be that person that I looked up to that could heal from all of the trauma and learn to love myself and to do so many amazing things. So if you think that you can't do whatever it is you're trying to set your mind to right now, and this could be whatever that is important to you, but I am living proof that you can turn your life around. Stop settling and create an incredible life that, you thought would only stay in your dreams and would never come into fruition for you. And this is only the beginning. Like if you're ready, then keep listening, because I have so much amazing topics and content that is coming on this podcast for you. And you're about to embark on the journey that will take you to the next level. And I'm your guide. Your dreams can become a reality. Are you ready?